We are back with Locked On Gators. Joining me still is John Garcia, Sports Illustrated's Director of Football Recruiting and Locked On's Recruiting Insider. And we got two players to talk about this second, both front seven players, both committed already. And first is Raylen Wilson, where we're seemingly always talking about these high school kids, and I can't even count the number of times that you've been on the show and you've been, well, the longer they wait to commit, the better that is for Florida. But this is a different scenario because Raylen Wilson is already committed. So what does the official visit mean for him maybe becoming a Florida Gator?
It just means the process is still wide open, right? Made an early commitment to Michigan. And then you start to look at the visits he's taking. He was at Georgia. Now he's going to UF. He's starting to take trips a lot closer to home, SEC, ACC territory. So I do think that's something to keep an eye on and certainly something to worry about if you're a Michigan fan. They had turnover on their coaching staff from last year and that college football playoff run. So it kind of opens the door for programs that like Georgia are long-standing powers that have produced like crazy at that position, or in-state programs like Florida, where there is a new coaching staff in town and he becomes a new priority. And I think this is one of those markers for Billy Napier and company, right? There's a lot of perception involved in how you win recruiting battles. Like if it's a local kid or a legacy, you're like, hey, we got to win those. That's like a layup. You got to close the door. Everybody understands that. And then there's a broader state of Florida deal where you're like, we got to win head-to-head battles with Miami, with Florida State. Certainly, you got to win those. Those are perception changers in terms of how that goes. And then kind of the third level is flipping prospects, elite prospects, right? Like how often can you go in and change a kid's entire plan for his life? That is like the last level of the video game of like, are we elite recruiters or not? And Florida's already done some of that, but continuing to do so is like those reminder points where you're like, okay, this is a program that is about their business and is unafraid to go compete with kids, even if they are seemingly done with the recruiting process. That's a big deal in college football recruiting. Kids change their minds all the time. And then when it's an in-state kid on top of it, and it's a Tallahassee kid on top of that, it really hits different. So it's one of those where it's like, it almost doesn't matter how good the kid is on the field. The perception of flipping a kid from Michigan and then the kids from Tallahassee on top of it, that would be such a big win by itself for the Florida Gators on the recruiting trail. But look, Raylen Wilson can absolutely play in and of his own skill set. That's why his profile continues to rise, even though he's already made that verbal commitment. So certainly big for UF to get him on campus.